We came to have a chat with the representative of the owner because this development obviously has taken us at the level of government by surprise. Under ordinary circumstances, one would have anticipated that there would be some sort of prior expression of concern. But that notwithstanding, we believe that there are certain steps that can be taken going forward that may allow for this location to be mitigated. I do not know the full extent of it because we've only had one conversation, but there has been a conversation, and obviously the owner is not in the island right now, so we have to see how far that goes. With regard to some of the basic principles though that government is concerned about, I think that there are three of them that are fundamental to this discussion. First of all is that the question of a parity between standalone restaurants and restaurants which are part of a hotel enterprise is a very serious one. And we have been looking at it from the time we came into government with a view to bring in a solution. The Minister of Investment is leading the charge, but it is a complicated issue involving customs, it involves finance, it involves obviously the tourism sector. We've had meetings on it as recently as a couple of weeks ago. Simply put, we believe it can be done, but there's going to have to be a willingness on the part of restaurants, which are standalone, to share their foreign exchange earnings with government, which they do not now do. But we believe that once you're able to show that about 75% or so of your earnings is done in foreign exchange, then you should be entitled to be treated in the same way that a hotel is treated for these purposes. And that's something we're committed to.
And what I'd add, Minister, is that we're more than committed to it. We've said several times that we are coming up with a new fiscal incentives regime that harmonizes what is happening with the Tourism Development Act and all the other legislation that governs how we look at concessions and incentives. And the reason for that is that we want to remove the discretion. We want actors in the space, people coming into the space, to be able to see and understand exactly what they're getting under what circumstances. Part of that, as Minister Simmons said, is that we've been talking to everybody in the sector to look at what is the mechanism by which we were able to see what those earnings are. Because the new fiscal incentives regime is a function of a few things. One is foreign exchange earning in your operations. Another has to be with the level of decent work that is created. So we want jobs to be a priority in the discussion, the granting of these concessions. And, you know, this is an ongoing conversation, and it sounds a bit trite to say that we're almost there, but we have been looking at this for months, and we are almost at the point of having an agreed framework. So as Minister Simmons said, you know, it is unfortunate that we are only now learning of this at the same time that all of Barbados is waking up to this, and that's why we have to come and have the conversation with the operators to understand, first of all, how are we going to address these 150 potentially dislocated employees who are very concerned about. And I understand that they will have a conversation with staff later today, but also to understand whether it was a fatal decision, whether it was something from which there's no coming back, and that's something that the operators will have to make a determination on. We, of course, will make sure that we can provide as much support to whatever is the transition that has to take place, but we're still really learning a bit about what really is at the bottom of the decision that was taken, because we are satisfied that what was suggested with respect to the levies and to the taxes in the sector are not the full story. We had discussions with the social partnership, in the context of the social partnership, but what is the balance that could be borne by each sector? We said from the beginning that this was going to be and has been the most shared adjustment that we would see. And perhaps in the history of any adjustment anywhere, and it's because we do not want to put labour on the front line. And so we start with the sector, and we proposed an equalising of the value-added tax, and their suggestion to us was that a levy of the kind that we introduced at 2% would have been more bearable, and that is why we went in that direction. Certainly, if you drive up and down the West Coast and other parts of Barbados, you will see that restaurants and hotels are full. Good luck getting a reservation. So there are other issues at play, and again, it's unfortunate that it was framed in the way that it was framed. We are committed to making sure that there's equal access to concessions, that it's visible, it's predictable, it's transparent. But we think that perhaps in this case there may have been other factors that contributed to this decision.
And if I could just go one step further on the question of the tax imposition, again, put into the whole conversation has to be the reality that corporation tax has been cut substantially in Barbados from 25 or 30% down to 5.5% at most for a hotel of this nature, for a restaurant of this nature. One other point I would want to make, and that is that, and I've made this point to the representative of the owner just now, in all of this, I think it is important for us to understand that labor matters in this country, and it leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth if you create a situation where there's no prior notice given and people just come to work one day to their job as they must do to find that there is no job. And that is the part that I will not accept, because tourism cannot be about the investor only. It has to be about the people who are making it work on a day-by-day basis. So we've made that very clear. Even if we can come to some form of cooperation on a way forward, there has to be an understanding that that type of approach to investment is not going to be acceptable in Barbados.
And they've shown a willingness to cooperate.
Well, unfortunately, the owner himself is not here, but his representative has, to be fair to her.
Yes. We have very good relationships with the private sector, or the social partnership is the basis on which we were able to come up with and execute a so far successful work plan. And so what I would say is that, you know, the investment climate and the improvements in the climate have been bringing new actors in, have been bringing new businesses into the sector. And perhaps the level of competition is one that requires businesses to up their game, to do things in a different way. And if that does not happen, then a business may find challenges. So I would say that the fact that you've heard today other operators, other restaurant owners coming out and saying that they are able to make significant profits and continue to be successful tells you that there's something else to the story. I am not here to add to gossip. I am here, first of all, to make sure that wherever we can support the entity, that we can do that, to make sure, above everything else, that the 150 people employed across these three establishments have a certain level of comfort and satisfaction in what their next steps are. I'm not the Minister of Labour, but investment for us is not just about those who are putting capital. It is also and primarily about Barbadians and others who live here, who work in this sector, who make it what it is. People come to Barbados because of the quality of the tourism product, because of the people, because of the service that they get. And you know, we have to make sure that once we've cleared all the dust and we understand what's going on, that those people who have been working here have options for what their next steps are to earn an income and to take care of their families.
Is it true that the owner has filed for bankruptcy?
I have no information to that effect. I have no information at all. This again, for me, this morning was when I first discovered that there was a development of this nature. And as I said, I have indicated to the owner's representative that the way in which this is expected to be done is that at least you reach out and indicate that there is a challenge, and let us see what might be done to assist with regard to the challenge, because we understand that these are not the easiest of times for anybody, but the approach taken really, in my view, was not acceptable. So I can't tell you any specifics about bankruptcy. I don't know.
Is there an indication that the owner intends to come back to Barbados? Because
so the owner, as I understand it, owns property in Barbados and has gone overseas to attain some function or the other. I do not know if they have left the island permanently. And there's a commitment that the staff will be spoken to this evening by the owner's representative. And as I said, if there's any good takeaway from this, there has been some discussion about the possibility of a way forward being found with regard to at least one, if not two, of the three properties. I can't be any more specific at this stage because the owner himself has not yet been spoken to.